Thanks for tuning in to your boy Pfunk Thinking Right. Well, I'm doing what I do for you on my YouTube classroom. Now, getting back to my conversation about the tree of life. In the myth, the tree goddess is the form of Nook, treats all human beings, not just as one, as she did her son Esau. In ancient times, she lifted him up following his resurrection. So too, she treats all human beings. Okay, it's not restricted to one person. It's not, no, the spirit don't operate that. The God don't discriminate. He don't have time for that. He reward those who do what they're supposed to do. And nature does what it's supposed to do because it's on one accord, the same accord. Okay, godly. It does what it does. That's all. She treats them all human beings. Okay, and Asar incarnated souls. All incarnated souls are considered to be Asar if it's enlightened, who will one day return to the source from which they came. Your spirit has an agenda. Your spirit has to continue. If you don't wake it up inside you, it's going to get reincarnated into somebody else until that person wakes it up. I woke mine up. What about yours? Trust me, I'm trying to help you with that. That's my job. Okay? Now, watch this. The source, okay, there are about 6 different concepts of the tree of life. Now, everybody had a tree of life concept. That's all. If I was one of them PowerPoints, I ain't got that good yet, so you got to use your imagination. Work with me, okay? The first concept is going to go letter A. It's an Egyptian tree of life. That's the one you see with us in it. All the gods laid out for you from top to bottom. I'll break that down to you later. B is called the Christian tree of life. You know, the Christmas tree, one of them deal. Then you got C, the Buddhist tree of life, called the Buddha tree. Okay, they got one too. The Christians again, well, the Christian got 2. The Christian got the cross, the tree of Jesus. Then they got one called the Christian's Christmas tree, which got the light on the top, which signifies enlightenment, signifies the anointment, signifies Christhood, Horushood, or God consciousness, whatever you want to call it, but that's what signifies enlightenment. Nihas, the Egyptian, we call it Nihas, okay? Enlightenment means Nihas. The third one, or the last one, is the Caduceus of Chahudi. That's where you see the 2 serpents going up the stick. That's the DNA things you see now. That's where they got that from. That's the twin sisters. They are Isis and Nephthys. Okay? They become the serpent goddess. They do a few things. I keep telling you, they got different aspects. That's the Kundalini concept. And Tahuti is the stick they represent it, and they going up to reach the enlightenment. 6 is the eye opening, third eye. That's my calling card. I've been awoke a while now. I'm trying to wake up my people. That ain't easy. Y'all ain't the easy bunch to wake up. We ain't going there. I got much respect. That's why I do what I do. Then you got what you call the psycho-spiritual energy centers of the serpent power, yoga in ancient Egyptian and in India. The one stick with the serpents going up. Okay, one serpent. That was Moses. That was just biblical concept. They got one too. This motif, this concept has been handed down over 10, 20,000 years. Okay. Once we start writing it on the walls, it was folklore before then. The ancients figured out a way to keep the message in stone for future use. They knew this was going to happen. They knew that we would be taken out of our land. They knew that we would be brainwashed, mind hosed, and if we ever made it back to the motherland, we would see the truth. We've been doing that for years now. At least 30 with that. I've been involved for 30 years with the Egyptian concept. So I'm not giving that up. Why? It's a way of life that I've been using, and it's been successful for me. So I'm trying to get my people in modern times said, don't think of it as ancient. No, think of it as a way of life that you can enhance your life. Self-improvement. Everybody got a program. I'm not a motivational speaker. I ain't trying to hype you up and jack you up. No, I'm just trying to tell you some truth that you can live by. That's it. I live by it, so I can tell you from experience. Okay? Here we go. That was the end of that lesson. Okay? That was lesson number 1, pretty much. Yeah, we start out. Now we're going to lesson number 2. And it starts with the ancient Egyptian mystical tree and the implications of the Djed, spelled D-J-E-D. Okay, the D, like the Django. People say the Django. No, it's just Django, but it's spelled with a D. I ain't trying to mock nobody, but yes, the D is silent. It was like the G. I don't know why they did that. I need to check in on it because I still said, why y'all put it there if you're silent? Why put it there? Well, I understand, knife. I'm just clowning now, but I'm feeling good, so roll with the brother. Enjoy it like I am. The Jid pillar of Asar. The Jid pillar is associated with the ancient Egyptian gods Asar, as well as my boy Ta. Again, Ptah. The P is silent, but we say Ptah. It's just Ta. Another tidbit. All right, that's all. It's part of the profile. I need to get into my linguistics, so that ain't my area. I know people proficient in that. I need to talk to them and get some understanding because I don't teach that, but I understand it. It's part of a profound mystical teaching that encompasses the mystical life force energy that engenders the universe. Remember, we're working with the forces, we're working with the cosmic force, we're working with aspects of nature. I digress. It's the driving force that sustains all life and empowers human beings to action. That's life. The spirit is what makes us go. Okay? As the story goes in the Saurian resurrection myth, it was said when Set killed his brother, Asar, he threw the body, which was in the coffin. He dressed up and had size perfect for him. He had a perfect fit coffin for him when he got into it. Okay. The story goes that he had 72 conspirators with him. So it wasn't just he just didn't know. He had help. He had, but that's not the issue right now. That's, like I say, those are tidbits that I can just throw at you. But right now, I'm trying to give a lesson about understanding the tree of life. That's just a story that goes with it, all right? But he took the body, threw it in the river, in the Nile River. It floated down the river. It was sealed up with lead, so it just floated on down. When it ended up, it was in the shores of Syria. There it grew into a tree with such a wonderful fragrance and aroma that the king of Syria right by it one day smelled it and said he had to have it. So they had him cut it down, take and put it in his garden. Okay, that's fine. But he didn't know Asar's body was in there. Okay, that's how the story goes. Remember, these are stories. It was called the Pillar of Asar, or Ptah. It was made from an acacia tree. It's a mystical reference to the human vertebra, the backbone, and the serpent power of life energy which exists in the subtle spine of every human being. Some people call it nagas. Okay, that's that spirit that goes through the body. Then you got a nerve, the nagas nerve, that big one nerve that everything's connected to. So they understand. It don't show up on the x-ray. You can't see it, but they know it's there. Just like they knew, the Dogons knew that the Star Sirius was there. You can't physically see it. They know it's there. We didn't find out until the 19th century. They've been known a long time ago. So everything that we find out don't mean what somebody was saying before we proved that what they said was right or wrong. Now we go, yeah, they knew. How they know? They still don't know how they knew. Okay, there you go. Oh, it also refers to the four highest states of mystical, spiritual consciousness. You have to be conscious in a human being with the uppermost tier, symbolizing ultimate spiritual knowledge, spiritual enlightenment, wherein you discover your higher identity in self as one with the supreme being. We call him God. They call him the Netter. All encompassing, but it's the same person. Names change, but we call air. We call sky. They called the air shoe. The sky was new. Same thing. I digress. This I'm saying conceptually. The name can change, but what it is still what it is. We call God Allah. We call God. Every word we call him, it still represent the supreme being. They tell you that. They had an idea way before we come up with a whole bunch of ideas. That is already laid out. We just took slices and parts that we like everybody else, selectively choosing. I call it a la carte. You can't have God and spirituality a la carte. It don't work that way. You can't pick and choose what you like. Either you take it all or you take none, because it ain't gonna work no other way. Only way it's gonna work is if you take all. Because if you don't take all, you just really got nothing. Anyway, so 50 on this hand, 50 on the other hand, 6 on this hand, half a dozen, whatever you want to do it, it's all about balance and opposites. If you can balance the two opposites out and make good decisions, you're good to go. But if you're not aware, if you're not woke, if you're not conscious, you're going to make a bunch of problems for yourself. We call them fetters. From being ignorant, you cause fetters. Okay? That's why knowledge of self will eliminate the fetters, the self-inflicted nonsense that we do out of ignorance. I'm a victim of it. I ain't no different than anybody else, but I'm trying to get better at it. When I mess up, I would say, I did. What? I did. If you do something to yourself, don't blame somebody else. Take responsibility and move on. It works better that way. Okay? It's something about being responsible for your actions. Because at Judgment Day, you're responsible for your life. Okay? But that's another concept I'm about to go off, so I'm sorry about that. Reel it back in. Okay. When you discover that you are part of the big picture, the mystical spiritual movement, you are God. But don't get all caught up on, no, you are conscious that you are God. So you're not just a human being, you are a godly spiritual being having a human experience. Once you realize that, you will know just what you're doing and understand what you need to be doing. Now you're right thinking. Okay, now you're thinking right. Once you start thinking right, you can live right. You can do right. You can be right. All those things only going to happen when you become conscious. That's why it's important. Thinking is the last frontier for us as a people. They took everything else. Okay? So understand that. Don't give up. Don't give up this. They're making computers to duplicate that, so they don't need you thinking. So you better start thinking on your own. And not thinking is not an option. You cannot prosper. You cannot grow. You cannot get to God not thinking. Okay? This is why they say, God, watch out for babies and fools. He's still going to do for you, even when you don't know you're doing for yourself. But don't be a fool. Get wise. Be a smart thinker.